Now, South Africa's premier horse racing event is back again tomorrow. The Durban July will be the center of attention, not only for the fashionistas, but for horse racing aficionados. One man tomorrow, of course, for him, it'll be a historic event, a historic occasion. Craig Peters will be calling his record-extending 37th July. That is 8 more than anyone else. Eagle Eye, as he is known, is the voice of horse racing and has been covering the July since 1984. The man joins me now to look ahead to tomorrow's action. A very good morning to you, Craig. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's perhaps start with the nickname. Why Eagle Eye? How did it come about?
Morning to you and your eNCA viewers. Thank you for having me on the show. The voice came about the Eagle Eye because of me picking out horses at about the 300-meter mark and winning, and then I wasn't getting many wrong in photo finishes when it was very close. Commentators around the world were not giving decisions. Close finishes, I was giving decisions, and that's how the Eagle Eye name came about.
You've been doing this since 1984, Craig. I mean, how have you been able to actually get it so right when everybody else around the world, some of them who are probably about as experienced as you are, have not been getting it as right as you? How have you been able to remember all of these horses and get it spot on?
Very lucky, very gifted. There's only 2 race callers in KwaZulu-Natal. It's myself and my son Sheldon. And for example, tomorrow there's 12 races on the card. We're covering all 12. Commentator goes on the jockey silk. So you've got to memorize the jockey silks, put it to a name, and then you call from memory. You don't read it out of a book. So very gifted, very lucky.
What is it about this job, if I could put it that way, this passion of yours that has kept you going since 1984? I mean, and so much so that you've brought Sheldon in there too, who himself is going to be calling his 20th.
That's correct. We're calling it together. I'm in a top booth. Sheldon's calling it on track. I'm calling it for television. And it's the thoroughbreds. You know, as a youngster, I used to sit outside on the bonnet of my father's car. I studied the colors. It came to me naturally. I was very lucky, and I put names to it. And I called the first ever broadcast from Bloemfontein on radio. I actually didn't know that we got nerves in our neck. I was so nervous. And still with the big one tomorrow, the 37th running of the Hollywood Bets Durban July, you still got nerves, the adrenaline pumps, the crowd. There'll be 50 to 55,000 people there, and they hang on to your every word. So another great experience. The weather prediction tomorrow is good, so all roads lead to Hollywood Bets Gravel.
What is the misconception? Firstly, about horse racing. Secondly, about the Durban July. And thirdly, about being a commentator of one of the biggest horse racing events around the world, if I may say.
Well, Africa's greatest horse racing event is the July, which of course takes place tomorrow. Look, there's lots of pools that are involved tomorrow. There's record pools, there's prizes. There is going to be a huge crowd, and Hollywood, they're a professional team. And there's 10 Town, and there's the fashion, and it's going to be another fantastic day. And as I say, you're a winner when you wake up, and the weather is good. And since Wednesday, we've had nice sunshine. We've got 12 races. There's fashions, and all roads, as I say, leads to Hollywood Bets Gravel. Going to be an absolutely awesome day tomorrow.
How did Sheldon get into it?
Sheldon won an amateur commentators competition. There were many entries, and as he won that competition, he actually called his very first race live over the microphone on air. I sat right next to him because I thought maybe that he'd freeze up. He didn't. It was a 15-horse field. He pulled it off fantastic. And then he called his first Durban July in 2001. So he's going for his 20th, and I'm very proud of him. And we're one of the few father-sons around the world that I know of that call a feature race together. So I'm proud of him, and obviously I'm looking for my 40th July. I must get to my 40th July.
I mean, what will it mean to you if you do manage to make it there? Which, I mean, honestly, you've done 37 already. What is to stop you from doing, a couple more to get to that 40th? What will that particular milestone mean for you and your career? And would that be perhaps you now maybe looking towards hanging up your mic?
No, not at all. As long as I've got my eyes and my memory and my voice, I'm certainly going to try and continue. I put it as in the mold of boxing. A manager and a trainer can do as much as they like for a boxer, but once that bell goes, it's him and his opponent. Same as a horse racing commentator. The bell goes, they're racing. It's your memory, your voice, and your eyes. And if that all sticks around, I intend to be around until I'm into the 70s.
Just before I let you go, Eagle Eye, the horse that you would, if you were a betting man, put your money on.
Well, let me do the last 300 meters for you. They got 300 meters to go in the Hollywood Bets, Durban July, and Dave the King is the leader. Here comes Bakaya with a good run. See It Again is running on. Time Flies is sneaking through down the inside. Without question, running a big race. 5 of them across the track. They hit the line. I think, without question, sneaked it from See It Again. Bakaya ran a nice race, and in 4th place, Dave the King. And all roads lead to Hollywood Bets Gravel, and the theme is Out of This World. What an experience.
Oh, man, if you're a lover of horse racing and if you're an even greater lover of the Durban July, if you're not going to be there for whatever reason, that is the voice you can expect to hear tomorrow in that particular fashion. Legendary horse racing commentator Craig Eagle Eye Peters, thank you so much for joining us here, and all the best for your 37th call. Of course, the Durban July happening tomorrow. Gravel Racecourse is where it's all going to be happening. As Craig did say, the weather looks good following everything that has been happening in KwaZulu-Natal, so it should be a beautiful occasion for those, of course, going for the fashion and for those going for the horse racing. That is where we leave your sport, of course, for today's edition of the South African Morning. More updates you can expect a little later on.